Right now, our adversaries are hard at work to expand their influence in every region. The Holy See is no exception. In 2018, the Vatican signed a provisional agreement to accept bishops appointed by Communist China, not the Vatican. Pope Francis has categorized the Vatican-China deal as diplomacy in the art of what's possible. I categorize this as being very dangerous. It sets a precedent for future relations with an adversarial nation. Xi Jinping has given the green light to construct state-approved, state-controlled Catholic churches. This has severe implications for Catholics globally. Additionally, I fear this encouraged Communist China in its persecution of religious minorities and provides moral legitimacy for a repressive regime. In October, the Vatican just extended that agreement for the third time for 4 more years, defying requests from the first Trump administration to end that agreement. Mr. Birch, do you agree that the agreement represents a dangerous level of cooperation between the Catholic Church and Communist China?
Well, thank you, Senator. Again, thank you for that kind introduction at the beginning. I agree that the relationship between the Holy See and China is of immense importance to the United States. As you point out, they did sign a provisional agreement in 2018 that they then renewed in 2024 that is primarily concerned with the appointment of bishops. This agreement is secret, so we do not know the contents of this agreement. Because it is restricted to only the appointment of bishops, I think it's important to maintain, for the Holy See to maintain a posture of pressure and of applying pressure to the Chinese government around their human rights abuses, particularly their persecution of religious minorities, including Catholics. When it comes to the question of the appointment of bishops, I would encourage the Holy See, as the United States ambassador, if I'm confirmed, to resist the idea that a foreign government has any role whatsoever in choosing the leadership of a private religious institution. I do not believe the church should cede or surrender to any government, China or otherwise, the selection of their bishops. And I would hope and work with the Holy See to present that and to make that case, assist in that case with the Chinese. The other piece of this is important with respect to China. The Holy See maintains diplomatic relations with Taiwan. It is one of only 12 states to do so, and it is the only European state to maintain diplomatic relations with Taiwan. I understand this to be extremely important because, of course, China's ambitions with Taiwan will likely be tempered by the posture of the rest of the world. And the Holy See, in maintaining this relationship with Taiwan, I think will serve as a point of hesitation and resistance given the Holy See's moral authority and moral respect and global influence around the world. And I will insist, as the United States ambassador, if I'm confirmed, the Holy See maintain that strong relationship with Taiwan.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Birch. One of the things that I'd want to also get back to a little bit, talking about the aid, because you mentioned that the Catholic Church is responsible for aid being distributed around the world, and I think is one of the partners that works with the United States government. Isn't that right, through Catholic Relief Services and Caritas?
That's correct.
Yeah, and so having been a prior donor to Catholic Relief Service, you mentioned how effective they are. I think their administrative and overhead costs are less than 5% typically. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding, yes.
Yeah, and so when the State Department is reviewing some of the ways that we're providing our foreign aid, some of the things, and maybe this is where the ranking member and I need to sit down and kind of go over the facts, but some of the stuff has been referenced as transgender operas in Peru, I believe, also voter turnout in India, DEI programs, and other programs. My guess would be, and maybe you're more familiar with this, that's why I'm asking, that when it comes to the Catholic Church, what CRS does, what Caritas does, they're focusing primarily on the type of aid that is life-saving. It's not involved with transgender promotion. It's not involved in voter turnout. It's not involved in DEI. Would that be your understanding of the kind of aid that the Catholic Church, the CRS, and Caritas does?
That is my understanding. It's primarily focused on humanitarian aid, like disaster relief in Myanmar, for example, which I understand that great grant was recently reauthorized. And then there's human services side, which of course involves a lot of different things that at times can or cannot be in the United States interest. To the ranking member's question, I think this is where it becomes difficult because you have to make choices as the United States. Can we continue to fund any and all of these programs, or do we have to be selective? And if we're going to be selective, what are the criteria we're going to use? And I fully support the President and the Secretary making sure that the dollars we spend, the money that the taxpayers pay into the federal government, are aligned with the United States interests and will make us safer, stronger, and more prosperous.
And so, but getting to the point of the aid, it would seem that the Catholic Church's interest in providing aid really does align more with the types of aid of this administration with regard to those life-saving services. Does that seem accurate?
I would agree. I think the Catholic Church can be one of the best partners of the United States.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.